At the Office, Cleveland's home for sports talk that never clocks out. From the latest headlines to heated debates, we're diving into everything sports. It's your hosts, Noah, John, and Erik.
Cleveland, it is your host, Noah, John, and Erik. Welcome to At the Office. It's to steal a phrase from Tony Rizzo on ESPN. It's good to be alive and it's good to be with you. It's a podcast where three work buddies debate and discuss top sports stories in Cleveland and around the country, and sometimes around the globe. I'm your host tonight. I'll be leading us. I'm joined by Erik and Noah. And before I kick it to them for an introduction and to see how they're doing, a reminder, you guys can join us too. Send us a comment on YouTube, Facebook, X. Text or call the show, 216-260-3433. That's 216-260-3433. Guys, the weather is breaking. Baseball is here. March Madness is over, but the NBA playoffs are roaring. We're talking draft. How are you feeling tonight? I am really jazzed, if you can't tell. I'm excited to be here. Erik, how you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good. I'm surprised you didn't say the Masters as well, because that just ended. Augusta looked beautiful. But no, I'm doing well. I'm excited. The sun was actually shining for a change, which is very nice in Cleveland. So my mood is just as high.
I love it, man. Noah's a Gen Zer and doesn't like golf. So he told me that we were not going to talk about Masters, so I didn't bring it up. But I watched every minute of Saturday and Sunday and loved it. We still got the music going. I love it. That's okay. We'll roll with it. Noah, how you feeling, my man? Noah's on mute. So while he's figuring out technical difficulties and everything on his side, we got another good show for you tonight. Noah, you with us?
Yes, I'm with you, man. You gotta watch this talking over other people things. I know you're the host, but take it down.
You were muted.
Yeah, I know I was muted and playing music for 8 minutes, but I'll allow it. Go ahead.
The music is not me. That is Erik, my friend.
We played the music through. Is this the first time doing the show? We play the music through the intro, and then we fade it out eventually.
Gentlemen, I'm good. I am happy to be here. This is my favorite part of the week every week. So to be here, sitting here, talking with y'all, I'm in a good mood. That's how I'm doing.
I'm glad. I was going to tell Erik, I was trying to frantically text before you finished, like, start playing the music again while he's introing himself. Let's just keep it rolling. Guys, we got a good show for you tonight. There's a lot going on in the sports world, both in Cleveland and around the country. We're going to hit on all of it. Not going to spill the tea tonight. You're going to have to stay with us for the hour to hear everything we're going to cover. But to get started, we're going to jump in where we always do with 30-second takes. We are firmly in the age of NIL. We had our first big-time contract dispute and opt-out, if you will. For those of you who may be unaware, Nico, I might butcher the name. You guys call me on it. Iamaleava is reportedly leaving Tennessee due to their inability to increase his $2.2 million to $4 million. And then since we started prepping for the show, he has signed with UCLA. So for 30-second takes tonight, we've talked a lot about NIL, what it means for college football, whether or not players should be paid this much. Want to see what you guys' thoughts are. Noah, you are a resident football guy, so I think I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on that whole fiasco and how it played out for the Vols?
Yeah, it's very interesting to me. A lot of people aren't going to like it because it is the new era of college football, and we're only going to see more of this. Hey, I am a player empowerment person at the end of the day, even if you don't like it because it's your college football. Go chase the bag, man. He was a 5-star top-rated recruit. He is supposedly eventually going to be a big-name quarterback in terms of NFL draft him. I don't mind it. And to see Tennessee fumble, that's on them, not him.
What? Love it. He's got some shaking of the head and some disdain going. Why do you disagree?
First of all, his name is pronounced Nico Iamaleava because that's what he does. He leaves you. It's God. Ridiculous. He had 2.2 million in you need the plus button like the ESPN show. He had 2.2 million guaranteed. My man.
There you go.
I don't even need to say anything else. But he had 2.2 million guaranteed, and he decides that's not enough. I'm going to leave. He was under. He had that deal in place, and it was pure greed. I think it's ridiculous. He's ridiculous, and he won't be beating the Buckeyes.
I interrupted you. You have anything to add? You hit your timer, but I took 5 of your seconds. So if you're not done, you can go ahead and finish that up. Noah, don't mute him, please.
No, just literally what I said. I think he's overrated. I don't think he was worth 2.2 million. Yeah, it's been a quiet class for quarterbacks moving around this offseason, but he thought he was going to go get 5. I doubt he even got that.
That's fair. I Noah, you can throw my 30 seconds up. I'm in the middle of both of you, but you're both right. Noah, yeah, get your bag, get all the money you can. This is the United States of America. The NCAA has been making billions off of these kids for years. I have no problem with them saying I can get paid more. At the same time, we don't have a salary cap, and we don't know what market value is because this is new. I think he is overrated. I think he is very good, and I think he can take a team to a national championship. But $4 million for a kid who didn't look great against Ohio State, lost a few key games, seems like a lot of money. So I kind of agree with both of you on that one.
Or Alabama, or he didn't look good against any decent team.
I don't get why you guys are upset with my take. He left and wanted more money, more so Erik than you, John. Relax. He left and he wanted more money, not because he played fantastic, but because that market is out there for him.
Because he already accepted the money. To then renege on that and be like, it's not enough. And he was trying to push.
Don't coaches in college do that all the time?
He was not
really. Coaches, yes, really, Erik. They do that all the time. They could sign an extension and then go leave for a bigger extension.
Yeah, they sign an extension. That's a mutual agreement. They don't say that. And by the way, they're contractually obligated. They follow those contracts. They don't say,
no,
hey,
they don't.
yeah,
they'll
cool
hop to another school. That is a factual statement, Erik.
And they don't continue to get paid, Noah.
He's not getting paid
First
by Tennessee. He's going to a better school. Huh?
He was trying to strong arm Tennessee. It didn't work. They called him on his shit. And now he's maybe going to be a UCLA Bruin, maybe, to finish
he's a UCLA Bruin with more money, Erik.
4th or 5th in the Big Ten. Congratulations. You went from a school that was going to potentially develop you into a decent NFL quarterback. You chased the bag. Enjoy it because you're not going to go number 1 overall in the NFL draft.
That's fine. Wouldn't you? Let me ask you this. You've got the potential to maybe make millions later on, but you're going to make millions right now. What are you taking?
He was already making millions.
He's making more at UCLA. What do you not get?
Nah, it's lame. This NIL
lame
era,
because you're not
off
used
the rails
to it. It's
already.
The same
How about
thing
you stop talking over people? You always call John out on it. This NIL era
brother.
is ruining college football.
So you guys last week, the last time we sat down and had a show, got mad at me for being on the fence about a torpedo bet because we're stuck in my ways. And now Erik, who is one of the main proponents of people who got mad at me for that, is sitting here on the show because he's mad about a kid going to chase the bag.
First of all, let me just say that I was never mad about your take on the torpedo bat. I disagreed with it. Second of all, I'm not mad at the kid either. I just think that, like I said, NIL, it's not that I don't think these kids should be paid, but it's now become, minor league football. And that's not the intention of what NIL was supposed to be. They're supposed to be making money off of their name, image, and likeness because the universities were, and they weren't seeing a cent of it. Now it's just become free agency. And as a Buckeye fan, I'm okay with it because we went and bought a natty. That's fine. But these kids they have too much power, too young, and they're not being developed properly because of it.
So go ahead, Noah.
Go ahead, John. No, we've been going for a minute. I want to let you. We can take a deep breath. You go ahead, brother.
I like hosting because I talk, and I can listen when I host because I get my little things in when I'm going. This is an excellent debate. I think you both bring up really good points. Erik, for the purists, do you think that the money is ruining college football? There's a lot of people who agree with you. Do you think 18, 19, 20-year-old kids have too much power? Maybe so. But on Noah's side, I would never fault a man or woman who ever said, I'm going to get as much money and get what I can get for my stuff.
I agree.
And the thing that I would say is, I think to say somebody is overpaid, it happens, but rarely. Markets develop for a reason. They take hundreds of years in some cases to do so. And the market can only bear what it can bear. And there is money out there to pay this kid. So to say he is overrated, I think is a fair take. To say anybody is overpaid, it's pretty rare given the money that they drive for the organization. I would argue that this quarterback, wherever he goes, is going to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars to the program, and he's debating whether or not he's going to get 2 or 4. So I don't think he's overpaid.
That's a take.
I don't.
He's a 5-star recruit. Like, he's projected to be a good player. Just because he had one bad year and lost to Ohio State does not mean he's a bad quarterback.
I didn't say he's a bad quarterback. I said he's going to finish 4th in the Big Ten at best.
Now, to be honest, he was going to finish 4th in the SEC kind of at best at Tennessee. So you're trading one conference for another in a similar position, but you get more money at UCLA. To me, it's apples to apples. And I think the Big Ten has better talent at the very top, but I think the SEC is fuller throughout. Just for clarity there, I think the Ohio States and the Penn States right now today are probably better than the Alabamas and the Ole Misses of the SEC. But if you look at every single team in the conference, 3 through 14 in the SEC are going to be a lot better than 3 through 14 in the Big Ten.
Are you forgetting that we have Oregon, USC? That's a wild take too.
I don't think it's wild in a conference with Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee, to say that they got a lot. I mean, would you rather play?
Named a bunch of scrubs, but go on.
Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, a bunch of scrubs. That's the wild.
Auburn.
You are planting your flag on a hill that I just think
isn't your
You guys always want feisty. I'm giving you feisty. No, listen.
I love feisty.
The
I love
sticky
yelling.
Point for me is that he had an agreement in place. He had agreed to that money, and then he decided it wasn't enough and he wanted more. That's just, I don't like that. He's a merchant at that point. He's a mercenary, and I'm glad that the Buckeyes didn't entertain him because I would have been disappointed.
So I think
do that all the time.
They do, and I was going to call out. I don't want to use too strong a language, but it feels hypocritical. Because I think if the competitor of your current employer offered you double your salary of what you're making now to do the exact same job, whatever agreement you had in place would go up in smoke as well.
I'm not under contract.
And because he's under contract, that changes the whole dynamic of everything just because he signed his name on something and said he was going to do something.
Brian Kelly was under contract with Notre Dame. Lincoln Riley was under contract with Oklahoma. They both jumped. Those are two big names in recent
And the agreements
right
in their contracts allowed them to do so. I guess what I don't like about this, let me talk for a second, Noah. I guess what I don't like about this, if you're an NFL player that's making money under a contract that you agreed to, you have a couple options. You can demand a trade. You could sit out and not be paid, but you can't just jump to another team. If we're going to have essentially free agency in college, maybe there needs to be more restrictions because the ability to just jump around and potentially ruin a team. I mean, we're not that far out from the season, and now Tennessee scrambling to figure out what they're doing at quarterback. That sucks for the program. I don't know. It's not working for me.
Now that I agree with, that I can get behind, but being upset with Nico, the player, for chasing the bag because the cards he were dealt was the perfect hand and he can go and do that right now. 100%.
I mean, make your money, young man. I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not mad at him. I think I'm mad at the overall system, and I wasn't explaining that well enough.
No, that's totally fine. I'm on your side now. I agree with that there needs to be more regulations. If this is gonna just be minor league football and we should just call a spade because that's what it is at this point, I'm all for it. We need more regulations. We need more GMs. I think it's like the director of football operations or whatever is the title they're giving some of these guys at this point. I agree with that wholeheartedly. What way do you like me to say it?
There you go.
Wholeheartedly.
Is the correct way, but we've come to accept full-heartedly, kind of like we accept irregardless. It's as wrong as it gets, but now people just
irregardless is an actual word, though, but go on.
Well, it's a word. It's just not properly used. People mean irrespective. Anyway, I'm going to bring it home for us on this topic by disagreeing with both of you on your final takes. I don't think it's out of control. I don't think it's a problem. I watched people say, I went to college, had my education and my life paid for. They were taking care of my mom, and I couldn't play well, and the university pulled it. And if the university can pull the rug out from under a kid like that, I think the kid has the right to do the same thing in reverse. If he says, I'm really good and I can get a bag of money and you don't want to pay me the money, him being able to leave without restriction, I don't have a problem with, because the NCAA has held student athletes hostage by their contracts and their scholarships and what they can and can't accept for over 100 years. And seeing someone of the talent of this kid say, pay me more or I'm out, doesn't feel great for NCAA football, but it does feel great for the empowerment of the athletes who drive the entire system. So when you're talking about, and it sounds like a lot of money to us because we don't have it, but I am telling you, for the University of Tennessee, the difference between $2.2 and $4 million ain't as much as it is for the kid who's going to get it. So I don't have a problem with him bailing.
You're right in one sense. It is and has been for a very long time lopsided. But the universities should have the same restrictions. You shouldn't be able to pull scholarships, etc. So I think it should go both ways. And I mean, Tennessee made a decision at the end of the day that I do agree with, because if you say, okay, the 2.2 wasn't enough, we'll give you 4, that sets a slippery slope precedent for every single player that you're paying to hold you hostage. And you can't do that. There's no way.
Correct. At a very micro level, eggs are really expensive. And if you're used to eating omelets, you either pay for eggs or you switch to toast and bacon. That's the option. He named his price. It was expensive. They said they didn't want to pay it. It worked out for everybody. And if Tennessee sucks next year, pay the extra $1.8 million and keep your guy.
And next time on Cooking with John.
Bam! Emeril Lagasse. No one's going to tell me I'm old for even knowing who Emeril is. But I'm going to make that the last word on this topic. This is a hell of a way to start a show, guys. Keep that energy going. We're going to move on to our next segment. But before we do, we want to remind you that we're moving from the water cooler quickly to the beer fridge. Or I guess we didn't do the water cooler yet. So that's an improper introduction. But I do want to remind everybody that our show is brought to you today by D&D Meadery. Twin brothers, Derek and Dominic, from right up the road in Madison, Ohio, rekindled the long-lost art of making mead. Now, we've talked about how much we enjoy it and how much we like it, so I'm going to give you a little bit different feel. I'm not a mixologist, but I like making myself a good cocktail. Sometimes it's nice to smoke a little basil and put it in the top, or get some mint leaves and kind of pulverize them in the bottom of a glass. I have been using the mead this time to make bourbon cocktails, but when something calls for simple syrup or honey syrup, to use some of the mead. I made the best Manhattan I've ever had, and I would recommend you do the same, whether you're a bourbon drinker or not. Mix it in, drink it straight, warm, cold, on the rocks. It's excellent. And if you order and use the code @the-office CLE, @the-office CLE, you can get 5% off your order. So that's if you buy 2. They go fast. If you get 2 bottles, you get a free shot glass. Anything you guys would add? We just want to give a big shout out and a lot of love to D&D, first ever sponsor, and they put out a phenomenal product.
It's so good. You guys were holding up the honey wine, which is delicious. It's one of my favorites. I don't have the prop today. I feel like John, not because I drank it and threw it away. I moved studios recently and forgot it at the old space, at the old office. So I need to grab that, but it's so good. You got to order it.
And they have new flavors too. Matt has been raving about the maple honey wine that they have. On the other episode, they have strawberry. They have a couple different ones out there. You should go check it out. They are hitting store shelves everywhere around Northeast Ohio. We really appreciate it, though, if you use our code and go to ddmeadery.org.
Yeah, I went to my local corner store to pick up some beer and saw one on the shelf and made my first non-promo code purchase because I was like, let me support the boys because I got a little cocktail party going on tonight. So word is spreading. Don't be late to the party. Get yourself a bottle. All right. I said it was from the water cooler to the beer fridge because I screwed up my notes, but we're really going from the beer fridge to the water cooler. Little segment we came up with. We knew that 30-second takes weren't always enough to hit the hot topics. We wanted a little more space to discuss the news of the day, right? Things that are going on. Maybe it's not worth a full segment, but it was worth a conversation. So this week, we want to bring you another quick hitter in a segment that we call Around the Water. I don't know if you guys heard the announcement, but it was pretty exciting news. Cleveland is getting a pro soccer team. The WPSL, it's a D2 league. It's not the top tier, but they're launching a league in the spring of 2027, and Cleveland, Ohio is slated for a franchise. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about was we debated this, right? Let's let the listeners in on a little behind the scenes. I was like, we should talk about the Masters. No, I was like, we should talk about soccer. And I was like, I'm right, you're wrong. And then he goes, this means a lot outside of just the moment. It's the stadium, it's the development. What does this mean for Northeast Ohio? So quickly, before we dive into our first big topic of the night, what does this mean to you guys? What does it mean for the city? Are you excited? Who did I let start next time? Last time, the other person should go first. I think I let Noah start.
It's Eric's turn. It's Eric's turn. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my reaction. It's 3 words. Kids, cover your ears. Let's fucking go. I'm so pumped for this. First of all, women's sports, they're on the rise, and I'm here for it. We've talked about it before. I'm a big proponent. I watch women's college basketball. I watch the W. It's fun. And these are really talented athletes that should be supported. And the fact that Cleveland they're supporting these athletes and bringing in a women's team, it does nothing but help grow the sport. And I'll tell you this, Cleveland is the absolute best place to have. I don't care if it's a tier 2 league, whatever, because they're going to be supported. That stadium's going to be filled, and Clevelanders are going to show out. I heard that there are already, if I'm not mistaken, they're already selling season tickets, or there's already like a list of people ready and willing to be season ticket holders. It's going to be a hot ticket in town. We might have a little surprise on the show soon. I want to tease. I don't know yet. I have a meeting tomorrow, but related to this. But I'm really excited. And the people that are making this happen, honestly, hats off to you. I know you're working hard behind the scenes. And, it takes a lot to do something like this. It takes a lot of funding. These are not owned by billionaires like the Browns. So it's a little different. And they're working really hard behind the scenes to bring this team here. And I'm honestly just super excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback off of everything that you said, because you hit on a point that I thought was really interesting. The season tickets, this I'm assuming also engulfs the men's league team, the MLS Next team that is coming. 16,000 signups for these tickets already. 16,000. It's insane. We didn't get to hit on the stadium yet, so I'm going to pull up a couple of the graphics. For those who don't know, this is the site of where it's going to be. So just, what would that be? South of Progressive Field, basically,
Yep.
Southwest a little bit. So this is where it's going to be, right off of the highway, which is a fantastic location, in my opinion, because there is absolutely nothing past that way. So it extends downtown a little bit. But they also have, they also have some good renderings, though, as well, that I wanted to show off that were included in some of the hype up of them getting this team today. This is a picture of what the stadium's going to look like. The goal right now, I believe, is to have it be 12,000 seats and then potentially expand it to 20,000 seats, 12,500 up to 20,000 as they continue to expand and grow on it as teams start to play there. And then here's another rendering I wanted to show as well. Kind of the backside where you can see what the field will look like, some of the open airiness and that type of thing. I'm really excited about this. My girlfriend used to play soccer, so she's super excited to get into it. That's one of the things she misses about her hometown, Cincinnati, is this FC Cincinnati. So now we have some of that to warm her up to Cleveland just a little bit more. John, what do you think about it?
So I really think what you both said. Erik, I agree with every single word of your take, and Noah, yours. So instead of reiterating it, I'll take another spin on this and maybe take it a level farther. Tell me if this is crazy. I don't like Pittsburgh very much, but one thing that they did very well is make sure that the Penguins, the Pirates, and the Steelers all have the same colors. So when everybody has gear, you can support each other's team easily. I'm not advocating for that for the Cavs or the Guardians. The Guardians have actually, by the way, probably the nicest uniforms in the MLB other than the Dodgers.
Hot take, wow.
Yeah, I love them. The red, white, and blue, it just slaps. They did a good job this year. But what I would tell this women's soccer league team to do and the ownership group is dig into the Cleveland roots and make it as easy for success as possible. Promote tailgating, make the colors orange and brown, talk about how important it is to come out and support the women of your community like you do the men of the community. You'll get even greater following. If I could wear my Browns gear to the soccer game and it's orange and brown and it feels easy to transition to a soccer fan. Erik, we debate it all the time. Soccer is not America's sport, but it is a fun game. Love the World Cup, love Copa, love Euro, love Olympic soccer. Learning a little bit more about Premier League. And if you want to expand that love of soccer, the support of women's athletics, make the colors orange and brown, call them the Brownies or the Brownettes, and let's get after it. And you'll have 20,000 crazy fans in that stadium rocking that thing every single time you have a home game. So I love it. I'm a girl dad of 4. This means a lot to me. I'm going to take my girls to some games, but do it up. This is a big deal.
I actually love this take. I don't know about calling them the Brownies or Brownettes, but
a little sexist, but I liked it.
I do love sticking with a color theme like that. I think that's a fantastic idea. And I'll say, you guys know that I'm a huge soccer fan, big enough to go over to London to watch my favorite club. But I've also watched some clubs here in America, and a team that does it really well are the Seattle Sounders. They, first of all, they sell out the same stadium that the Seahawks play in. They have opposite, believe it or not, of the Hawks Nest, which is the crazy fandom like the Dog Pound. They have their version of that for soccer. But what's really cool is they do this march to the game. So you get together, you drink. Oh, did I cut?
No, you're good. Keep going.
Oh, weird. It was spinning on my end. That's weird. They get together, they drink, and then they do a march, a couple hundred yards to the stadium. I think you could do something similar, marching over from East 9th Gateway area and make it a lot of fun, shut the street down. It's nothing but good things for Cleveland.
I also like your take and your idea of the color scheme. I don't know how I feel about the Brownies and Brownettes or whatever. I also don't know if they'll actually go with the brown and orange and lean into that. I could see them leaning into one of the classic color schemes of wine and gold or blue and white and red, like the Guardians or something like that. I could also see them doing their own identity. Every team here has its own identity, aside from the teams in the rock entertainment bubble. And I guess that's really it. Because minor league baseball, everybody has their own identity. I'm just excited, man. Another stadium, another place to host events, another thing to do in a city that I think the three of us love and hold very dearly to our hearts. This is really important, and this is really exciting, and it's an exciting time to be a Clevelander.
Can they just figure out that branding soon? Because I'll buy a jersey or a kit, as it's called in soccer, today. Let's do it. And I really hope
Cleveland pro soccer stuff already. There's a scarf that's out there and stuff. It's black and white. It's nothing crazy, but yes, I'm with you 100%.
I know it's silly, but because it's such a big part of soccer and the uniforms, I hope they have a cool sponsor. That logo is really important because it's so big on the front of your jersey. And I know there's a lot of options, obviously, for Cleveland businesses, but I hope it's something cool.
Yeah, you're going to get Cleveland Cliffs and like it.
Or progressive. I'd do progressive if it's flow.
I would do Sherwin-Williams, to be honest, if I were them. But, there's a lot of good options in Cleveland. Ladies and gentlemen, this may come as a surprise to you, but Erik, who works in marketing, who drives a BMW and has on a BMW Polo, believes in the power of branding. Wild.
I'm a brand guy, man. What can I say? I live and breathe that stuff.
It's one of my favorite things about you. His office is a shrine to branding. Every time I go in there, I notice something new. He comes by it honest. Anything else on soccer before we dive into our first topic of the night, gents?
No, London I'm really blue always.
Let's keep rolling. To be honest, I didn't hear what either of you said because it came in at the same time, but that's what I'm here to do, is keep the show rolling. I did love a take that Noah had, too, about the stadium being a new venue. We're going to get concerts and cool outdoor stuff in the summer. That's just as we talked about the sports side from an economic development side and reinvigorating a Rust Belt city. Just having a venue and a place where you could have more stuff is also really cool. But
one more thing before we
Yeah.
move on. I think Noah said the stadium could be expanded to like 12,000 or something like that.
It's 12,000 to 20,000. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, to 20. I was gonna say because 16,000 people interested in season tickets. Like, let's double the size of this thing and make it a little bigger. I don't think that's a bad idea, but fair enough. To 20, that's pretty big.
You know what? To double down on your one more thing, as like I said, a girl dad who has daughters who play volleyball, I go to these tournaments in other cities in our city where it's like you got to get a hotel. You're there for 2 days. You got to buy food. You got to support the kids. There's this huge venue with 240 teams in it at like a convention center. Women's sports is a big deal, and having something locally between them and the Rockers, hopefully, that I can take the girls to. I think it could be a boon because people are thinking. When you think like, do I buy Browns tickets or Guardians tickets? They kind of compete with each other. But I would never shop soccer team tickets for a women's soccer league against the Guardians. Those are two different experiences for different reasons for me. So I think they could get, like to your point, Noah, about how many season tickets they sold already. I think they're going to draw because I think it's going to draw on A, soccer fans who we've never talked to since the Crunch or the Force in this city, and B, women and young women. So, bring it on, man. This is great all around.
I love it for the city.
I love that you love it, brother. And we're making At the Office history. I had a take, and Erik and Noah both said, that was a great take. I like what you said. I don't think that's ever happened before. So I'm going to leave
Put
on
the chain on for once. You actually deserve it for about 30 seconds. I'm passing it to you since you virtually.
What do you mean, this whole thing?
Since we're still on the topic, and I think this is a good question to pose. Tim Lyons in the chat said, I'm surprised Cleveland wants to build a new stadium for minor league soccer. Use the Brown Stadium because they're getting rid of the Brown Stadium, and the Brown Stadium is so run down, man. And a minor league stadium, the investment, the thought process, the money.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I know we all want a new stadium, but you clearly haven't been to the I almost said the Redskins. You clearly haven't been to the Commander Stadium. To call the Brown Stadium run down, that's a bit hyperbolic.
It's pretty bad compared to the rest of the league, Erik. I know you're not gonna die. They'll let this one die, but it's pretty bad compared to the rest of the league at this point.
I mean, it's not brand new and shiny, but it's not like crumbling facade or anything.
It's bottom 10 of the NFL.
I put it bottom 5.
Okay, that's.
I'll tell you why I put it in bottom 5 too. When Brown Stadium opened, it already sucked. I remember seeing what they did in Indianapolis with Lucas Oil, and in I think it was M&T Bank in Baltimore, Heinz in Pittsburgh, how they renovated the riverfront in Cincinnati just in our own division. Never mind the Viking
Heinz isn't cool.
Minneapolis, St. Paul. We were way behind the 8 ball even when the stadium was new.
Heinz is way better than Brown Stadium, Erik.
It is.
I've been to a game there. I don't think it's that cool.
It's better than Cleveland Stadium.
I'm not saying our stadium's great. I'm just saying, like, to call it a dump, I don't know.
It was built in '99. What are you fans doing? It's not us. They built it quick and fast and cheaply, and that it shows. It shows. Go ahead, John. Let's keep it pushing.
I'm gonna keep it pushing. There's a great book on this whole thing called Set Up. I think it's called Set Up to Fail. Terry Pluto wrote a book about how the Browns were rushed so badly that it led to our demise as a franchise, but the stadium sucked and all these other things. I butchered the name, but highly recommended reading if you have interest as to why our stadium sucks, and so did our team for like 10 years. It's kind of a shit show.
I'm going to call it right now. If we're still doing this show in 10 years, Noah's going to be waxing romantic about playing on the lake and the old stadium and then because the reason I say that is because I was just thinking, I was never there, but I was thinking about Old Municipal, which you can see behind me with Jim Brown. And I was just thinking like it'd be so cool to walk into Municipal today. Obviously, it was a dump at the end of its life, but you get nostalgic, and I think that same thing will happen.
Oh, I'll be nostalgic for it for sure. I can also say it's a dump. Anybody who's nostalgic for Muni is also saying in the same breath that place was a dump and it needed to go.
Fair enough.
Gentlemen, since you allowed me to put on my own chain, I'm gonna respectfully take it off because we've all had some really good takes tonight. I'm gonna keep us rolling. First topic of the night. We've had some great conversations. Let's not disappoint the listeners, gentlemen. It is draft season. Sneak peek, be sure to tune in for our live draft special next week. That is right. On Thursday, sometime between about 7:30, 7:45, Noah's going to pay for pizza. I'm going to eat it and not pay. And we're going to be breaking down the picks, the action, all of the things that are going on with the NFL, with the draft, with the Browns. Make sure to tune in. You don't want to miss it. We're probably not going to have a show on Wednesday next week. Thursday is going to be the show. So be sure to join us again between 7:30, 7:45. We'll post it on social. You have plenty of advance awareness. But with that in mind, at the time we go live the next time we're with you, your Cleveland Browns will either be on the clock or damn near on the clock. It's no secret we need a quarterback. The only one we've had since 99 is Baker and maybe Derek Anderson for a season. There's Flacco, there's Shador, there's Kenny Pickett. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And we've talked about who we think is going to start. And what happens when you focus on the top of the draft is you forget about the other people who might be available who could be a beacon of hope for your franchise or your organization. So someone who as recently as last year might have been a first-round pick, maybe still is, depending on who you ask. I want to ask you guys about Jalen Milroe. Alabama quarterback, strong arm, but he had some questionable losses last year. Now, were they his fault? Were they not? We don't know. But what I want to get into with you guys is he a good prospect for NFL football, first of all? And then secondarily, is he a good fit for your very own Cleveland Browns? I gave it to Erik last time. Noah's our resident football guy. It kind of worked its way out with the roulette wheel. Noah, you want Jalen? What do you think?
Yeah, I love this. This is out of all the topics that we had to talk about. I will yip it up for Cleveland all day and be happy that we're getting a sports team. I will talk about NIL ad nauseum. I'll talk about NBA playoffs after the break. I know you said you weren't going to tease it. I just teased our last topic. Whatever. This is the topic. Right. This is the topic that I am most excited to talk about because Jalen Milroe is the most questionable prospect in the NFL draft, in my opinion. He is the definition of boom or bust for me. Exactly. There's a lot of ups and downs with this guy. He has elite athletic traits. We're talking pro level running back speed. He has the arm talent to throw deep balls at a level that you just don't get to throw when you get a guy like, I don't know, Jacoby Brissett, hell, even Shador. And you guys know, if you listen to the show frequently, I'm on the Shador train. But he also has some accuracy issues. He stands in the pocket too long. He's had some questionable losses, as John said. I think Milroe in the right system with the right quarterback, with the right quarterback coach, with the right offensive coordinator, with a plan in place, can succeed in the NFL. But that is a big if. And the fit with the Cleveland Browns scares me because ifs and sticking to a plan doesn't tend to happen a lot in the orange and brown. I'll get into the Browns a little bit more. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I will jump in here only because I agree with Noah. Jalen Milroe is the most terrifying prospect at quarterback and maybe in the entire draft because quarterback's the most important position. I literally thought about it in the drive to work today, the drive home. I pulled out some stats. And I can make a case that he has the highest ceiling of any quarterback that's going to go on this draft. Maybe not Cam Ward, but comparable for the highest of best expectations. But I could also see him being Derek Anderson at his worst, Brady Quinn. Like, we've seen so many bad quarterbacks. I don't know what to make of this kid. Like, most of the time you say, if we draft this guy, his floor is here, his ceiling's here, we think we can work in the middle, let's push him towards greatness, yada, yada, yada. Milroe could be the worst draft pick in the history of the NFL and be awful, just not worth anything. And he could kind of be like a Kirk Cousins at his best in a good system when he's winning games with the Vikings. Like, I can see this guy going both ways. Is he a good fit for the Browns? Stefanski develops pocket passers who have strong arms. From that perspective, I think, yeah, he's probably pretty good. He could also implode for all the reasons Noah alluded to earlier. I won't reiterate them. He is a terrifying prospect. That said, if I wake up the day after all the rounds of the draft and he's on our roster, do I feel better about our prospects as an organization? The answer is no. I don't want him, but that's cautious because I do think that if he's the best version of himself somewhere where the system fits, he could actually be a pretty special talent. E, what do you think?
I think you guys hit on some good points. You both mentioned he has a cannon for an arm and can throw a deep ball. I think, like you said, this is high risk, high reward area, right? He's been really inconsistent with his accuracy. That's the biggest drawback. He could improve on his pocket presence, in my opinion. He tends to hold onto the ball a bit too long. He took a lot of sacks. I think that he has a good drive. He always talked about team accomplishments over personal accomplishments, which I really appreciate for a player, especially a young kid. I question how adaptable he is. He had quite a few offensive schemes that he had to adjust to, and quite a few offensive coordinators at Alabama, and he didn't always thrive under those changes. So I wonder how he would be. The one point that I disagree a little with you on, John, is that you mentioned that Stefanski's good at developing a pocket passer. I don't know that I call him a pocket passer. He's more of a, I don't even want to call him a scrambler. But yeah, I don't call him a pocket passer. I'd call him a dual threat quarterback. He's an athletic scrambler, right? Compare that to somebody like Shador, who is more of a pocket passer. He is more precision with his accuracy. I just don't know that it makes sense. He's an explosive, high ceiling, boomer bust kind of player. Compare that to Shador, who is more calculated and methodical and more ball control oriented. That's where I start to get a little worried. If I had to compare Jalen to somebody, it'd probably be Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson light. That sounds really good, but that's the ceiling. That's the high side.
Yeah. I'm going to jump back in here too. It's so interesting. I mean, this guy has been so volatile, even down to his hand size. Hand size is a stat that we talk about with quarterback, that you need to be above 9 inches or whatever. He measures in at the Senior Bowl at 8.6 inches, which makes you think, oh, well, this guy's going to be a 5th rounder. He's not worth even trying. Goes to the combine. Yeah, goes to the combine and measures 9 3/8 inches. It's like, everything about this guy is boom or bust. Is it true? Is it not? Is it potentially? Tim Lyon says hand size is bullshit. And to an extent, yes. I mean, the biggest example of that is his own Joe Burrow, but also Ryan Tannehill, Tony Romo, Mike Vick. There are examples of hand size not mattering in the NFL, but I like him as a fit for the Browns. I'm not going to lie. You got to think a little bit deeper in this. Who was the last quarterback the Cleveland Browns drafted as a developmental prospect? Anybody?
Developmental prospect? Probably the kid we just got rid of, which didn't last long.
I would say Dorian Robinson, from UCLA.
Okay. What was the big thing about his game?
He sucked.
Okay. Aside from when he was in the orange and brown, the upside of him as a prospect was that he was uber athletic, not to the level that Milroe or Hurts or Lamar is, but he was an athletic quarterback.
And it didn't help.
I agree. But that just I'm not comparing him in that way to DTR. Let me finish. I think what this team wants in terms of a rookie developmental, the guy that they want to be the franchise, isn't your stereotypical Joe Flacco, Jacoby Brissett, blah type of quarterback. They want an athletic guy like this. They want a guy with a strong arm that can do the pocket passing things, but they like the athletic upside. That's what I see in DTR. And we're forgetting his offensive coordinator at Alabama, who got the best out of Jalen Milroe, is the offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns right now. I'm still team Shedeur Sanders all the way. I think he makes the most sense for this team. But I get the appeal in Jalen Milroe as a guy that sits on the bench for a year and develops like a Lamar did. I know Lamar played a little bit towards the end of his first year in the Ravens, like Jalen Hurts did. Sits, really learns the NFL, takes it all in, and comes out and potentially is something we haven't seen in orange and brown before.
I got to disagree with you on the point only that, first of all, normally you want your quarterback room to look very similar, each guy, so that you can plug and play a guy. If Flacco goes down, you have a pocket style passer ready to go in. I'm not saying you have to do that, but typically you see backups in the mold of the starter. Stefanski developing an athletic quarterback when he's known for developing more pocket passing. I don't know. Here's my problem. You talk about DTR and his athletic upside. The problem is that's great if you still have accuracy. Milroe's accuracy is what scares me the most, because I'm not talking on deep balls either. These are short and medium length passes that he was not very accurate on. That part of him just scares me, where I think Sanders, it's an upside. And don't get me wrong, I think that, Sanders has downsides as well. Partly, I think his internal clock isn't great, and that's something that he needs to develop a little better. He took the most sacks, obviously, with a bad O-line. But I don't know. It's the Browns, and we need a guy that's ready to start like next year. Not to even mention injuries, but Flacco's a vet that we're hoping he's going to look good. We're hoping we could bring him back. I don't know that Milroe's the guy.
Tim Lyons makes a good point here. Josh Allen was 40% in college completion percentage. I agree with every single criticism, concern you have with Milroe. I'm on that train, but I'm also on the train of when you look back and you see some of these guys that end up panning out, they had a lot of question marks. Patrick Mahomes had a lot of question marks. Josh Allen, a lot of question marks. Lamar Jackson, a lot of question marks. I mean, we're going through our top 10 QB list right now, talking about the guys with question marks. And you have players in place to play in front of him if he doesn't work out. You have Joe Flacco. You have Kenny Pickett. No, he doesn't. Those two, Flacco.
You have Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson is never playing a game in orange and brown. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole again.
No, I know. You're right. And listen, the reality is, and we've talked about this before, we just don't know what we don't know. Until we plug him into an NFL game, we don't know how the Browns as an organization is going to develop him, because we don't have a great track record, but we also haven't had this front office and this coaching staff develop guys. There's so many question marks. Could he go on and become a Jalen Hurts? Maybe, and that would be ideal, right? I mean, I would take that all day, every day. But we need to give him time. And I still question what our strategy is at quarterback. I like the Joe Flacco signing. Noah and I talked about it the other day when we were together, but we still don't have this figured out long term. And that just scares me overall.
It's
fair. That's totally fair. Yeah.
Guys, this has been a hell of a show. You guys brought the energy. You brought good takes. And I want to say something to the listeners. You guys make us better. We got some texts this week, and you're like, hey, talk about this. Think about this. We got a few things. They're starting to follow in, which is cool for the show. But the reason I held up like the best take chain for Noah is this our full-time job? No. Or are we journalists by trade? No. But where else are you going to find a breakdown on the hand size of 14 different quarterbacks other than Noah? This guy, he comes prepared. He brings the energy. So, we are here for you guys. What are you going to say, E? Sorry, go ahead.
I really enjoyed that. By the way, that was such good timing, because we have a text message, and that text message says, hello, my name's Colin. I'll leave your last name off, Colin. Do you think the Browns with Flacco is enough for them to be legitimate contenders?
Let me jump in first on this one. Yes, for them to be good and have a playoff run. No, not to be legitimate contenders. To me, legitimate contender means more than making the playoffs. You got to have a chance of winning the Super Bowl. I think Flacco can win 12 games, 11 games, 10 games. I think we could potentially win the division for the first time since, Jesus was here. Shout out Easter. But, I don't think the Browns can actually contend for a Super Bowl with Flacco, but who knows, man?
Wait, if you're saying they can potentially win the division – in a stacked division, but saying they can't contend, I don't disagree with your take that they're not contenders, but I think those two things go against one another. That's crazy to say that he could win 12 games and win the division but not contend.
Normally, I would fight you on that, but you're right. I think our division is so stacked, but we're so familiar that we know Lamar is going to choke in the playoffs, and we know Joe Burrow is going to give money to the receivers, but it's going to go up and down. There's a chance that the Browns with 11 wins win the division, 12 wins win the division, and cannot realistically compete with the Bills and Chiefs.
I guess I get your take. Just knowing historically the division, and I don't care. We don't know who the Steelers quarterback is. They're still going to play us tough as hell. And you know they're going to have a winning record. You know the Ravens are legit contenders, in my opinion. And you know that the Bengals are good. I don't know. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm still of the belief that Flacco's not even going to play all 17 games. He hasn't since 2018. So my answer is no, not with Flacco. They're not legitimate contenders. Could they make some noise and have some fun? Yeah, but that's the peak of where they're at in my mind.
I think too, Erik, to your point, because I was nodding because I was like, "Yep, you're right. Yep, keep cooking. I'll stop you when I disagree. You're right. It's a jugger." So here's what I think about our division that's really unique. Everybody says the winner of the AFC North is so good and that they can compete for a Super Bowl, and I don't agree. I think the Ravens are frauds as long as Lamar is quarterback because he can't win a playoff game. I think the Steelers have all the makings of a great franchise, but they are lacking a few key pieces, including quarterback, that make them suspect. Bengals have a quarterback. They don't have anything else or an ownership group that has proven that they'll spend on it. And I think the winner of our division is probably the toughest to play in from week 1 to week 17, but our division is also the least indicative of the teams that are most likely to compete for a Super Bowl. The Chiefs, the Bills, there's so many AFC teams that I would put above every team, and the Ravens look good on paper every time we get through a regular season, but the reason I had that take is while I think we have one of the toughest regular season divisions in football, I don't think the regular season in the AFC North prepares you for Super Bowl contention because nobody's done it in quite a while.
Yeah, but
but yes.
Let me just respond to that quickly because I don't entirely disagree with what you're saying, but all I'm going to say is in that case, nobody's a contender except for the Chiefs because they're the only ones that have broken through. I mean,
right.
Yeah, but also that's fair. If you look at the AFC for the last 5 years and come to the conclusion that there's no real contender but the Chiefs and maybe the Bills, and then the Chiefs won 4 AFC championships out of 5, and the Bills are right there. Both things can be true, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. By the way, Tim said he'll eat his shoe if the Browns win 10-plus games, only because Tim has taken my money on a bet. I'm going to hold that to you, Tim. If we win 10-plus, it can be a kid's shoe. You can find the smallest shoe you can. But I want you to boil that down and eat it. We'll have you on the show live only because you took my $50.
Hey, when Tim shows up to the next show with a flip-flop made out of waffle batter, we'll know that he knows he's lost his bet.
I like that.
John, we got an ad break still, brother.
I know, and I'm way late on it. We're going to be back at the office in a moment. We have one more topic to discuss with you. We will probably make it more brief than normal, but we're at the office. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll be back after these messages. We're back at the office. Before we go on to our last segment, please subscribe, hit the like button, smash the download if you're going audio only, and drop us a comment whether you're streaming live or not. We love hearing from you guys. Thank you for your activity tonight. Also, check out our merch store where you can get this great swag. Shout out to Fans First Sports Network for supporting us, all we do. And you can join us too, 216-260-3433. Rushing it a little bit. Did I say something dumb? Is that what you guys
No, I was laughing at Noah's fake sip because your fake sips, John, are pitch perfect. Noah's are so obvious.
There was actually a drop of my Gatorade left, so it wasn't a fake sip. I had a sip left. It was just
Face
a really
on
bad
me.
sip.
I've had apple cider, ginger ale, bourbon, scotch, Capri Sun. I promise you guys, I've never once in the history of this show taken a fake sip out of this glass.
I don't buy it.
I know. It's okay. It's true. I stand by it. Last topic for
This guy
tonight.
also said he could hit a half-court shot and has yet to prove it. So
that's facts.
You guys are asses. I proved it once. I hit it in 11 shots or 10 shots, but we'll get into that on another show. Neither here nor there. Guys, it's NBA playoff season. Your Cleveland Cavaliers are in first place. We have a huge regular season that we are really anticipating success in the playoffs. We don't know what it's going to come down to in the Eastern Conference Finals, but we're hoping to make it there. Probably playing the Celtics, but we got Heat Bulls. We got Mavs Kings. We're trying to see who's going to fill out the 8 seed. Magic Warriors. There's a lot going on. We got the Luka Lakers playing the Wolves, the Nuggets with David Alderman as their new coach. There are a lot of really compelling stories, including the Knicks versus the 3.0 bad boy Pistons. But let's start where we always do. And knowing that we're a little bit short on time, maybe we'll keep it to the Cavs tonight. We don't know who we have just yet. Oh, what?
Oh,
we're
going to
talk about this, man.
We're going all the way.
Any time crunch. Let's do this topic.
Well, with that in mind, everybody pour yourself another favorite beverage. Settle in with your boys at the office. We're going to go as long as it takes to get all of it out. Noah, Erik, NBA playoffs are starting. The Cavs are number 1 seeds. We don't know who we're playing yet, but what are your expectations for this team? Let's start there, and then we can move out to the rest of the Eastern Conference and Western Conference from there.
I know you started. I'm going to go real quick with my take because all I have to say is Cavs in 4.
4, 4, 4?
4, 4, 4. 4, 4, 4.
Cavs in 4.
Right.
Okay. Listen, the outlook for me the expectation is high. We still don't know who they're going to face. I think we probably all know who we want them to face, maybe, and who we don't want them to face. You guys tell me. But it's high. I mean, the Cavs led the NBA with their offense. They lagged a little behind in defense. I think that'll clean itself up because it's playoff time and it tightens up naturally. They're one of the league's best top 3-point shooting teams. Before March, that dropped quite a bit, which raises a little bit of questions, but I'm not worried. But they're still not the favorites to win the East, which is how I like it. I'd rather be the underdog, and being the underdog to the Celtics, that's just fine for me. I think that the NBA as a whole and TV wants a Celtics-Cavs Eastern Conference Finals because that would be great TV. It could go the distance. But I got to say, I'm more afraid of, and I'm not getting ahead of myself and putting the cart before the horse, but I'm more afraid of teams in the West than I am teams in the East. I'm not saying it's going to be easy to get past a Boston. It won't. Atlanta gave us trouble in the regular season. I think we'd be fine in a 7-game series, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. But I think the West has some really interesting teams that, should we make it that far, I don't know. At that point, anybody can win it, but I would say expectations are sky high for better or worse.
Yeah, and Barry Northrop just threw in that the Heat just blew out the Bulls. I was about to say the same thing. So we will either be playing the Heat or the Hawks. I lean the Heat, of course, because the Hawks have given us trouble. But
Right.
Cavs in 4.
Super quickly, one-word answer. Who would you rather play of those two? Erik.
Between the Heat and the Hawks?
Yes, sir.
The Heat, I agree.
Who would you rather play, Noah?
The Heat. I already said that.
Oh, yeah,
John?
you did. 3 for 3. The Heat as well. I don't think the Hawks are that good. But they beat us twice this year. All right, keep going. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but we got some live updates in the moment. I've been trying to check the score of the game on the side while also hosting the show. It didn't work out well, so thanks for the update. Was that Barry?
Yeah, it was Barry and Noah as well. I said it. You gotta use your listening ears a little bit better there, John. I want to talk a little bit about the Warriors. The Warriors are interesting to me this year because they were a play-in team. They of course made it last night, correct? And they look dangerous as a 7 seed with Jimmy Butler on the team there now. What do you think the ceiling is for this Warriors team, Erik, John, either of you?
It's definitely interesting. I mean, Jimmy. So going into the game, I think we would all think that there's an A and a B. But what we saw is there's a 1A and a 1B. Steph Curry paired with Jimmy Butler is kind of scary. I think Butler had 38 points, if I'm not mistaken, and like 7 boards and 6 assists, if I'm remembering that correctly. That's a monster performance. We know what he can do in the playoffs. But pair that with Steph, who put up, if I'm remembering correctly, 37. That's a team that can go really far. It was an interesting game. You know, Memphis kind of blew it a little bit there at the end, and obviously Steph had some clutch free throws there in the final seconds. And shout out to Desmond Bane, who put up 30. That was a monster performance on the other side. But Golden State, I mean, they're going to play Houston, and that's going to be a really fun series to watch. I've been banging the drum about Houston for a while now. It's a good team that plays quick, and I think that's going to be a really fun series to watch. But I still have Golden State advancing. I think you'll see them against the Lakers potentially in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, and I got them at the same spot. Golden State is a scary team because they have championship pedigree and a lot of leftovers from the team that won the title. So you can never discount experience in the NBA. I think when the Cavs play the Heat in the first round, it's okay to discount experience. But Cavs versus Celtics, the fact that the Celtics have been there every year over and over and over again, and the Cavs are still trying to get there, that stuff matters. And I think that the Warriors have enough intrinsic DNA, if you will, to say we've been here before. We still got Draymond. We still got Steph. We know what it takes to win in the playoffs. Like, this is one of those teams where you're like, how are you a 7 seed and you ended up in the Western Conference Finals? Well, here's how. Because everybody on our team has been there before. And we're an organization that's used to winning as of late. Mm-hmm. So,
but you could say that about a couple teams in the West. I mean,
you bet
the Lakers obviously have championship pedigree. The Nuggets have it. I mean,
Lakers, Nuggets, and then the opposite side, everybody's like, you should be scared of OKC. You should be scared of OKC. OKC strikes me as the Cavs of last year. They're a team that hasn't been there and hasn't won a lot and hasn't done it. And that's not to say they can't. But if Oklahoma City with SGA is playing the Lakers with LeBron or Golden State with Steph and Draymond in the Western Conference Finals, you know who you'd bet on if you had to bet, even if Oklahoma City might be favored in Vegas. Yeah. And that's the thing that I agree with you on. It's the experience thing. It matters so little in the regular season and so much in the playoffs. It's wild.
It matters. And I love Gilgeous-Alexander. I think he's such a fine player. I love how he plays the game.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. But yeah, when you're talking about LeBron, who, you know, is in the twilight of his career, but knows I give it all for one last shot potentially. I mean, it's a different game when you've been there and you have that experience.
What do you guys think? You guys are talking a little bit about experience, that kind of thing. The slipped my mind for a second. Milwaukee Bucks, Damian Lillard out with an injury. That is a problem that we have going on right now at this very time. The blood clots thing going on. What do you think his ceiling is for a Milwaukee Bucks who are currently the 5th seed playing the Pacers in round 1?
Not very high. They have the talent on paper, but they they haven't seemed to be able to put it together. I've been on record as saying I'm not a huge Doc Rivers guy. I'm not saying he's a bad coach or anything like that, but I think he's kind of held on to what he's done with Boston for years and used that success to propel him. And I'm not sure he's done much since, whether that's his fault or not, but I don't see them as serious contenders this year.
John?
Yeah, +1 to Erik. Honestly, I don't think it matters when you look at who comes out of that matchup in the conference. I wouldn't call them a sacrificial lamb. You got some talent there, and they're going to make it tough on whoever they play. But nobody's
Indiana,
thinking,
right?
oh, right, like Indiana.
Right.
Yeah, they're not coming out. So it's interesting to talk about, and I think we'll have some fun with it when that series starts. Whoever wins that series. But there's sometimes in basketball with the NBA where I feel like we're having a real conversation about what could actually happen for the championship. And there's some times where I'm like, we're a league of only 30 teams and we invite 20 of them to the playoff tournament. And it's like, you got to make storylines someplace. This is one of those places where I think whoever wins, they're done after the first round.
Here's the thing. The key to the Bucks' success, obviously you want Dame back. But if they can get quality minutes out of Bobby Portis and Pat Beverly, then I think that they can definitely get out of the first round. And again, it's a team with championship pedigree. They've been there. They understand it. But it's their ability or lack of ability, depending, to maintain that momentum when the starters rest that will be a factor in this series, in my opinion.
My other thing, we've went through most of the East. The East is what's most important to us as a franchise, right? Because we are a Cleveland podcasting Cavs fans. The New York Knickerbockers and the Detroit Pistons play as the 3 and 6 seed matchup. Do you see an upset happening here? And I know I've been kind of quiet and posing questions. The Knicks fall apart in the fourth quarter. They are the definition of a Tom Thibodeau team. They play all their players and they play like 2 bench guys and they say, figure it out. And they're all dog shit tired by the end of the game. The Detroit Pistons are young, rough, rowdy, fun. I hope JB, I talk my shit on JB Bickerstaff a little bit here on the show. I hope JB gets his lick back for all of the stuff that was posed on him as the coach of the Cavs when they beat us in the playoff games a couple years and just smacks him right back. 6 seed advance.
I'm 100%
playing well.
What you're putting down, Noah. Would I bet on it? No, I think odds slightly favor the Knicks. But I will tell you what. The Pistons got some up-and-comers, and if their best players are the best players of the series, or if they have 1 or 2 guys who can outshine some of the guys the Knicks have, I think that this is a series that could go 7, and I think it's one that the Pistons could win. Like I said, I wouldn't bet on it, but these guys give me the bad boy Piston feelings of the 80s. And I apologize, I forget the guy's name who's the stud for Detroit, but if he's better than Jalen Brunson, he outshines him at Madison Square Garden. You bet your ass that the Knicks should be on upset alert. Again, I don't think it matters because whoever wins that series is going to lose the next round, in my opinion. But this is my favorite first round series other than the Cavs because you just don't know what to expect. It's kind of like the Buster Douglas Mike Tyson fight where everybody's like, yeah, it's the champ. They're like, oh my God, the Pistons knocked him out. So we'll see what we get.
I would say it's Cade Cunningham all the way, who, by the way, put up a triple-double at Madison Square Garden already earlier this year. I think you're dead on, though. I think this series goes 7 games. It's going to come down to containing Towns too, and the boards. I would agree that it favors New York, especially at Madison Square Garden. But I wouldn't put it past an upset with the Pistons. If Isaiah Stewart can lock down Towns, I think they have a shot. And I for one, I would love to see. I know we make fun of JB once in a while, but he's a good coach that gets young guys playing well. We got rid of him because he couldn't jump to that next level, but he's a fantastic coach and he's going to have them playing well.
Listen, I know he's our former coach and we give him shit, but I will take every opportunity to hate on New York City sports franchises, hate on the Knicks, hate on the Giants, hate on the Jets, hate on the Nets, even though the Nets don't even count. They're so piss poor of a franchise over there. Fumbled KD, fumbled Kyrie. I will take my licks of being a New York hater. Go sit in your $2,700 a month apartment that is 200 square feet
cheap.
with your shower, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your living room.
I'm most looking. I like that rant, but I'm most looking forward to the matchup between Cunningham and Brunson. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So far, like the playoffs have had really fun matchups from a star player of each team kind of perspective, and I think that one's going to go the distance.
For a league that allows 2/3 of its members to go to the playoffs, there are a lot of compelling stories in the first round of the playoffs.
For sure.
Before we move on to hot takes and getting us out of here tonight, anything else you guys would add on the NBA playoffs or that you left on the table?
I don't think so. We covered a lot, man.
I'm just excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for the Cavs, baby. I'm ready for a championship.
Noah's going to have to snap some photos. I keep calling it the Scream Team. I know that's not what he's on, but he works for the Cavs. He's down there. We're going to have to get some inside intel on what's going on. I want locker room reports. I want health statuses. I want all the intel from you, Noah. You work for the Cavs.
And you better lay out
any of that. I can't do any of that without getting fired. And I also have zero access to any of that. I set up props and I throw some T-shirts. That's what I do. It's a part-time gig.
You better sacrifice yourself and save the team like John's daughter did a few years ago.
Amen. I will.
If there's puke that could potentially make a player slip, I want you to lay down.
Diving on it. Belly flop and all.
In an egg and bacon breakfast, the chicken is involved, but the pig is committed. Noah, I need you committed. If you got to lose this job to get us some intel for this podcast, that's what I need you to do.
No.
That was quite the quote. That was the egg is committed.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll come back to that maybe on another show. I want to get us out of here. It's been an hour 15. We went strong. I feel like we put out some good content. You guys hit us up in the comments. Let us know if you agree. But before I take us out for the evening, we're going to end where we always end with hot takes. What's going on in sports? What's going on in the world? What's going on in life? Noah, why don't you get us started on hot takes for the evening?
Yeah, my hot take is nice, simple, and easy. There is a prop bet out there by DraftKings that is piquing my interest, to say the very, very least. And that is for the Browns to take both Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders in the 2025 NFL Draft. This is posted by DraftKings. Nick Pedon, I forget how to say his last name, apologies, of Big Play Sports, posted this earlier today, and I tailed it. So it is a plus 1,200 for yes for the Browns to take both. That has gone down to plus 850 already, 650. So go out there, take this bet, because I think it's going to hit. I've been on this train since we started mock drafting, since we started really breaking down Sanders' fit as a Cleveland Brown. And I just wanted to bring light on some sports betting help for my final thought today.
Love it, brother. How about you, E?
I will go one off the wall a little bit. You guys know my lack of love for all things Dodgers and how I think they should be banned from MLB, but I will go on the record and
from
say
the Yankee fan.
I think I'm a Guardians fan. I think that Shohei Ohtani is already more important to the game of baseball than Babe Ruth. And as a partial part-time Yankees fan, what he's doing, though, to grow the game, first of all, in different parts of the world, but on both sides of the of the ball, so to speak, is simply incredible. And I think we've just scratched the surface with him. I, for one, am really excited. I do hope, hopefully not for the Dodgers, I do hope he continues to dominate baseball because he is a fun player to watch.
He is a fun player to watch. I'll throw out something to say that I basically agree with Erik with one big caveat. The difference between being good and great is consistency over the years. If Shohei Ohtani does what he has done for the last few years, for the next 20, I will unequivocally agree with you that he is probably the best player in the history of MLB. But he's got 17 years where he still has to hold up his end of the bargain. But that's not a bad take at all, man. I see it in him, and I love that. My take is really quick. I'll be short and sweet and to the point. I'm the resident golf fan. I watched all day of the Masters on Saturday. I watched all day on Sunday. It is my favorite tournament of the year. And shout out to Rory McIlroy. There have only been 6 golfers in the history of professional golf to win a career Grand Slam. And Rory McIlroy had the other 3 big ones and got himself a green jacket last Sunday. And he didn't just do it by showing up and playing well and everything went well. He was putting balls into the water. He was putting balls in the sand. He had a 3-foot putt on 18 to save the championship for himself and missed it and went to a playoff and still held off Justin Rose. Rory McIlroy is not my favorite golfer. He would be closer to the top of my list if he were American. It's one of those things like the Olympics where I root for Americans. But he's a stand-up guy. He does everything right. He's kind to the media and to kids. And to see him complete the career Grand Slam on Sunday after the playoff and everything he went through was special to watch. So I know we don't talk a lot of golf, but congratulations to Rory McIlroy, and that is my hot take for the evening.
Only being the 6th, I wonder if Noah can tell us the last person to complete the career Grand Slam.
Hey, you better.
Is it Tiger Woods?
Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that you have to ask, though, is a little concerning.
Now, I'll tell you what, all 5 other guys won 1 year, and then 4 years later, and then 7 years later, and then 8 years later, and they finally got there. Tiger Woods held all 4 at the same time, if you're wondering how good the guy was.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, can you name the other 3? Or other 2, I mean? Or
other 2.
God, can I math the other 4?
So we have Tiger Woods, we have Rory McIlroy.
Uh-huh.
Sam Snead.
Most famous golfer after those 2 in history.
Jack Nicklaus. So I know Jack.
One of.
No, Arnold Palmer got one. No, Jack Nicklaus.
Columbus.
The answer is no. I could get us to 4, maybe 5 with more time, but there's one dude on that list where I'm like,
you're missing some big ones though. Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Ben Hogan, and the guy that you're thinking of that is just a no is Gene Sarazen.
There you go. Gene Sarazen is the one I didn't know. Guys, we covered a lot of ground tonight. Thank you for joining us at the office. We're going to wrap up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the download button if you're listening to the audio-only version of our show. Check us out on all the socials, at the office, CLE. Thank you to Fans First Sports, D&D Meadery. This has been an exceptionally fun show. I hope you guys out there listening feel the same way. Have a great day or night wherever you're watching or listening. And until next time, stay up, go Cavs, go Guards. Peace.